Or if the bomb that drops on you gets your friends and neighbors too, there'll be nobody left behind to grieve, and we will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know.
Hello and thank you for watching the John Doe Prepper channel. I'm your host, John A. Whitman, and as you can see, I have a change in scenery for this video. Hopefully the natural lighting will be a little bit better for you to be actually able to see what I'm doing in this particular video, because today I am going to be showing you how to self-apply an Israeli dressing to your arm. Now, an Israeli dressing, for those who don't know, is a type of compression bandage, meaning it's a type of bandage intended to apply pressure to a wound so that you don't have to just sit there with gauze in your hand and hold pressure with your own hand. For this video, I will be using the pre-opened Israeli bandage that I showed off in my medical training video. But before we get into that, I wanted to briefly show you the packaging for this particular bandage. So this is the outer packaging. On the front, you have emergency high-strength pressure bandage, trauma dressing 4-inch, and the brand name, etc. On the back side, you have instructions which you can't read because this is all crinkly from having been vacuum sealed. Very useful. After you open that up, inside you will find a second layer of packaging which contains the actual bandage. And after you open this up, you will get this. Now, the first time you use this bandage, there will be a stitch through this rolled up part of the bandage so that it can't just roll away from you if you accidentally drop it. But of course, once you roll this out fully for the first time, you will tear that stitch and then that feature won't be there anymore for your trainer. Just something to keep in mind. So when you get the bandage open, the first thing you're going to do is open up the pad, which opens up like a book. You do not want to touch this because this is sterile and is supposed to go up against the wound. So of course you don't want that to be dirty. After you open the pad up, you will notice this extra bit of material here. This is a loop. And that is there specifically for self-application with one hand, which is what I'm showing you today. So once you've gotten the pad open like so, let's assume for the sake of this video that I have a wound right here on my forearm that I want to apply pressure to with this bandage. So I'm going to pass my wounded hand through that loop, and I'm going to get that up to the level of the wound. Now, from here, I'm going to bring it over so the pad is now over the wound. Now, to the best of my ability, I'm going to want this plastic cleat right here centered directly above the wound. So, feel free to adjust it as needed to make that happen. Now that I have that ready, this is all elastic material. So as I use it, I'm going to pull it tight. This will actually apply the pressure. So I'll start wrapping like so. Now that I'm here, roll this up a little bit. Now that I'm here, I pass one end of the strap through the top of that cleat and then pull it through. Now that strap is in the cleat. Now that I have it in there, I stretch this and I pull it back the opposite way. What you can see that's doing there is it's pulling the cleat down over the wound, and that's applying direct pressure. Now, from here, I'm going to wrap the strap over, and I'm going to go for my first wrap right down the middle, right over the middle of the cleat. Okay? Then I'm going to do another wrap, and when I reach the cleat, I'm going to go a little bit off to one side and wrap around there. So I'm not going straight down, I'm going off to one side. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, like so. And from here on out, I'm going to do that same process all over again. middle, one side, other side, middle, one side, other side. And now I have reached the end of the strap, and you can see there's this little clip here. What you're supposed to do is get one, or ideally both, of these hooks hooked to the side of one of your previous wraps. So I'm going to pull that tight, and I'm going to hook this onto one side right there, and if I can, I'm then going to try and hook the other side right here, and there we go, I got that partially hooked. Now this is all clipped into place and is not going anywhere, and this bandage is quite tight, which is of course the point. It keeps tight pressure over the whole thing, which is primarily centralized over that cleat, which again is centralized over the wound. So that's what you want to make sure of to the best of your ability, is that that cleat is directly over the wound, because again, the point of this bandage is to apply pressure to the wound. Now that I've got it on here, obviously, now that I've applied it correctly, which I can determine just by feeling how really freaking tight it is, I can now undo that clip and I can unwrap the bandage. Now I take it out of the cleat and extricate my arm from the loop. Now, if this would have been used in a real situation, obviously this pad would be full of blood, so that would make this a biohazardous material, so you would dispose of this. It is a single-use item, but as a trainer, since this is just a training aid and I'm going to use it again, I will fold up the pad and the loop. I will then straighten out the bandage strap, and I will use this clip on the end as a sort of spool to roll up the whole bandage again. And there we go. And there's your re-staged trainer 4-inch Israeli dressing. These dressings are also available in 6-inch and, if memory serves, also an 8-inch version of these. There are many other ways in which you can use these bandages, and I will be making other videos on those uses, such as how to bandage a head wound with one of these, in a later video. With that all being said, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and thank you once again for watching the John Doe Prepper channel.
We will all go together when we go, all suffused with an incandescent glow. No one will have the endurance to collect on his insurance. Lloyds of London will be loaded when they go.